Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming an in-depth wing liner tutorial for you. I had a lot of requests to do this, even though there's a million and one videos of it, but I just want to show you my take on it and how I kind of go about doing my wings. So what I will say first of all, which is probably the most annoyingest thing to hear, but literally wing liner is all down to practice. If you had seen my wing liner a year ago, okay, we won't even talk about it actually because it's just upsetting. Yeah, practice really does make perfect. Just keep playing around with it, see what shapes you like. Whatever shape I like for my wing liner might not suit your eye, you might not like it. So just keep playing around with it, tweaking it little bits and pieces, and you will find a way that you like doing your wing liner, and yeah, we will all be happy people. Again, this is just how I do my wing liner, but I'll show you my little tips and tricks. You might find little pieces and bits helpful. So firstly, going in with my Keilidh palette, I'm going to take this peachy shade on my fluffy blending brush. So I'm not going to be doing too much on or with the eyeshadows today, just because I really want the liner to be the focus, but we obviously want to have a little bit of colour down. So I'm taking that peachy shade on my XXS blending brush. I'm just going to start working that into the crease. So when I'm doing a liner look like this, I'll always do all my eyeshadows, my liner, lashes, whatever, all on top first. And then after I clean up my liner, then I'll go in on bottom. The reason why I do that is because if you're like connecting them around the whole time, once you do your wing and you're cleaning it up, you're going to end up with like a little gap here basically, which is going to look weird. You're better off just doing the top all first and then buffing the bottom down at the end. So again, just really working that into the crease and just really winging it out. Also blending your life away. Then taking another XXS brush, I'm going to take number 335, Inglot's eyeshadow number 335. So it's just a nice burnt orange shade. I'm just going to repeat the same steps with this, but I'm just not blowing it out as far as the first shade. So I'm keeping it a little bit closer to the crease. So as always, I'm using a really light hand. You can see where I'm holding the brush, I'm holding it right at the edge. Using a really light hand, circular motions out at the edge, and then window wiper motions into the crease. Bring it slightly across the lid also. If you bring your eyeshadow down too far, that's actually perfect because you're going to be cleaning it with the wing liner. You're probably better off bringing it down too far as opposed to not bringing it down enough and then having a gap between your eyeshadow and liner. So like I said, concentrating it mostly into the crease and then buffing it upwards. What I do then is I go back in with my XXS brush and a little bit of that peach shade from my palette and just buffing out the very edges of that orange. Now for the lid then, I'm taking my 19p brush, so it's just like a flat shader blender brush, and I'm taking I'm just taking the burnt orange shade from the What a Spice collection, so number 299. I'm going to wiggle that on my brush, and with this I'm going to kind of press it onto the lid first. This is just going to be our lid colour, and then because this brush is kind of fluffy as well, it's just going to buff it up too. So I press it on first, covering the whole lid, and then I just buff it upwards. I'm going to blend this out then with the burnt orange. There's XXS brush, then we're just going to blend the very edges of that to make sure we have no harsh lines. Then just taking a small little 20 or 13p brush, I'm just going to take an inner corner highlight. This is number 29 eyeshadow from Inglot. It's just any kind of pearl shimmery shade just to brighten up the inner corner. Once you're happy enough with that, you're just going to go in and do our winged liner. Moving on to wing liner then, I'm obviously going to take number 77 Inglot. Best eyeliner you'll ever use, waterproof, smudge proof, life proof, not coming off. I like to mix a little bit of Duraline with my gel liners. What the Duraline does is it makes the gel liner a little bit more liquidy. I prefer it that way. Now the Inglot gel liner already is very moussey as it is, but I just prefer to have it a little bit more liquidy. It's just what I'm used to. If you've got really oily eyelids though, make sure you don't mix too much Duraline because that is what makes it transfer. So the brush I'm using is the 32T by Inglot. This is my favourite liner brush. If you've been to any of my masterclasses, you know I'm obsessed with this brush. What I like about it is it's not too big. I find the angle brush can be a little bit too big, and then the little flimsy pen one is far too small and it's so flimsy. So the reason why I like this is because you get the stiffness from the angle brush, but you get the smallness from the little flimsy thing. So you have the best of both worlds. So 32T, my fave. So just mix that in and just really make sure that my brush is nice and flat. I'm gonna do my line on my lid first and then I work the wing out afterwards. What I'm gonna do is, starting from the inner corner, we're just gonna start drawing our little line. The way I do my line on top is, obviously you're gonna have it nice and thin on the inner corner, then it gets thicker towards the outside. What I do is I have it come in the same thickness, however thick you want, into about halfway, and then I start to taper it inwards. Give yourself a nice elongated cat-like eye. If I was to taper it in far too soon and have it come in really thin from like out here, it's going to make your eyes look really far apart. If I bring the chunkiness in too far, your eyeliner is just going to look really chunky and it's going to create more of a rounded eye shape as opposed to a really kind of cat-like slinky one. But again, bringing it the same thickness from the outside, coming across to about halfway, and then that's when it starts to get a little bit thinner. And while I'm here at the inner corner, what I like to do is just put a tiny amount, just kind of connecting the top to bottom. It just defines the inner corner part of the eye a little bit more. I just like the way it looks. They're just a little baby inner corner. So there's a few rules that you hear with wing liner. One of them is being like connected to your eyebrow. The other one is follow your bottom lash line upwards. I don't really go with either of them. If I was to do that to my brows, they'd be sticking right up. If I was to do that with this, they'd be coming right up too, and I don't like that. Personally, I prefer a liner that kind of comes out a little bit more straighter as opposed to swooping upwards. Now, I kick it up a little bit upwards just to give me a little bit more of a lift, but I don't like that real kind of pin up, sticky up liner. It just doesn't suit me. I prefer this kind of elongated cat-like eye shape. We're taking our gel liner on the same brush, just flattening it. I kind of follow the bottom lash line, but not as much. I follow it, but then kind of kick it down a little bit so it's a little bit more straighter. We're just going to start shaping out the liner. Now, if you mess up, it literally makes no difference. Like, I kind of came out a little bit too straight there, but it literally makes no difference because I'm going to show you how you can clean it up. I've gotten so lazy with my liners just because I know I can fix it. So if I make a mistake, I'm like, I don't care, as opposed to trying to get it right in the first place. So I draw this little line out, and then where your crease, if you tilt your head back, where your crease comes down and hits that line, if you imagine it, if it comes down and hits that line, that's where I'm going to place my brush and just bring it back to the line that we already have on the eye. Then, where the crease hits that line, just bring your brush back. Nice, so as you can see, I went a little bit too far down. I'll leave it because we're going to be cleaning it up in a second. Have faith in me, guys. So then I'm just going to start building up that wing to the shape and length that I want. What I do now then, because we made a mess, I'm going to take Inglot's Duraline again. So this guy, you can use it for everything. I use it to dilute down my liner, and now I'm going to use it to clean it up. So just taking a small drop of that, and I'm then taking my concealer brush. I'm just going to put a small amount of Duraline in the concealer brush. This is just going to clean it up nicely for you. You could use a baby wipe, but the baby wipe kind of cuts off the liner, whereas this slightly drags out the liner to such a small point that you would never get with a brush. So this is why I like to use it. I'm going to come right in underneath the liner and just swoop it up. See what I mean? Do you see? Do you see the magic? Try to do it in one swoop just to make sure you get it nice and sharp. And boom, there's your liner. Duraline will take off a little bit of the foundation you have underneath, so what I like to do now is just go in with the tiniest amount of concealer and just repeat that same step. It's going to highlight your liner a little bit more, just make it pop and more crisp. Like I said, just going right underneath it. I just get a little bit of the black eyeshadow just from my palette again on a small 20 or 13p brush, and I just press it over the liner. It's going to help stop your liner from creasing on you throughout the day. It's just going to set the gel product. Using what I did on top, starting with the peachy shade. I like it to be going out quite a lot. And going in with the burnt orange, so 335. A little bit closer to the lash line. Then 299 on the 19p brush. So the cream coat pencil is going to make your eyes look a little bit bigger, make it a little bit brighter. You could of course go for black or whatever, but I'm just using this today. Popping that in, add some mascara and lashes, and we are done. So just a few things then that I just didn't mention throughout it because I did a talk through, and this brain I've had like a sip. When doing your wing liner, obviously you're going to have your head kind of tilted back and looking down, but always make sure to look straight ahead in the mirror then as well. So after you do a step, look straight ahead in the mirror. That's how you know it's going to look alright whenever you're like obviously looking normal. You're not going to be walking around like this here all day. Your liner could look amazing with you like this, and then you look straight ahead and it's like completely wonky. Looking straight ahead into the mirror and kind of just adjusting them then wherever you may need be to make them a little bit more even. What I always say is just put on some big ass lashes and no one will be able to tell the difference. The main kind of tips then that I have for wing liner is doing the line first, kind of having to come out a little bit more straighter as opposed to kicky uppy Duraline. So this is literally the best thing ever. You could throw on your wing liner any old way and this will just clean it up. If they're uneven, you can clean it up using this. Just because gel liner is so hard to get off, there's very little things that will actually remove it. A baby wipe's a little bit too harsh on your skin and you might need to pull out your skin a little bit more, whereas this literally just cleans it right up for you. Is there anything else? I think we're all G. I think that's everything. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and leave comments down below of what you want me to film next. You guys wanted an in-depth liner tutorial, so that's why I did it. So whatever you want next, let me know. I'll leave all product lists, product details down below, and all my social media links also. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.